Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I believe these are my 10 best ideas, most potent ones. Might you want to run with one or more of them? The first is New Israel. The UN was wrong in, after the Holocaust, placing the tiny sliver of Israel surrounded by millennia-long enemies. The U.S. gives billions and largely military aid to Israel, and we see what it hath wrought. Instead, the U.S. should cede an Israel-sized sliver of the massive forest land north of New York City, which has the world's largest concentration of Jews. That would be New Israel. Israelis could opt to stay in regular Israel, which for 5 years would become a Palestinian state, or they could move to New Israel, if needed, receiving financial assistance. That's a more likely and less expensive approach to peace. Next, super courses. Picture yourself in the course that you found most difficult in high school. Now imagine that instead of the teacher you got, you were taught online by a dream team of the world's best teachers. Even better, the approach was individualized to your learning style, not just in pace, but more visual or more auditory, and the course would be rich with vivid simulations that are impossible for each individual teacher worldwide to create. After each lesson, you would take a quiz, with the results gamified. The course would be translated into many languages, so students worldwide would be taught in their native language. Super courses hold far greater promise for education finally living up to our hopes. For example, to date, despite trillions in compensatory education spending, the achievement gap remains as wide as ever. Google that. Just Google achievement gap wide as ever, and you'll see many citations for that. To mollify the teachers' union fear of losing jobs, super courses, at least as a pilot, could be used just as a replacement for homework. When the results of the evaluation show super courses' superiority, the unions would have to pay too big a price in government support to continue to oppose super courses. To continue to mollify the union, teachers, or at least teacher aides, could be in the classroom to provide the human touch to support super courses. I describe super courses in more detail if you just Google super courses and my last name, Nemko, N-E-M-K-O. You will find more than one of those articles describing it. Next, Finder. Dating apps have revolutionized the way that people meet romantic partners. The same technology should be used for platonic friends, mentors, tutors, and professionals such as physicians. I'm calling this kind of app simply Finder. Flex marriage. With half of marriages ending in divorce, yet with people continuing to crave a formal commitment and a measure of security, we should promote flex marriage, a legally and perhaps religiously binding agreement to marry, but for a fixed number of years. It would include clauses for key specifics, for example, regarding children, and regarding division of income generating and domestic activities. Of course, a flex marriage agreement could be renewed or not. Easy tax. Filing income tax, federal, state, and often local, is time-consuming, expensive, and prone to cheating. Instead of the massive IRS, we should increase sales tax in an amount equal to what would have been collected in income tax. Side benefits, environmental. Taxing purchases means less production and less waste. Not taxing investment income increases money available for research and development for better products for us all. Plus, it's fairer to tax people based on their lifestyle, that is, their spending, than on their savings. Basic items would be exempt to ensure that the poor pay little. Luxury items would be taxed more. I describe easy tax in more detail on the internet. Just Google the word easy tax, one word, and my last name, Nemko, N-E-M-K-O. Select, don't elect. Our leading presidential candidates make clear that our system doesn't encourage the nation's best to run. In addition, all the money it takes to win, from town council to U.S. president, encourages policy to be affected by special interests, from unions to industry to identity politics groups. Instead, legislatures should be selected the way index funds are. Passive criteria, for example, Teacher of the Year, Most Cited Scientist of the Year, Cop of the Year, and some random people to help ensure ideological diversity. those legislators would choose their CEO, whether the mayor, the governor, or the president. Newbraries. Too many libraries sit underused, except perhaps for homeless people using it as a shelter. Libraries should be repurposed as community centers, hubs for social services, shared working spaces, adult education classes, and town hall cafes, which I'll describe soon. Down in a couple of items later. Eerily. E-A-R-I-L-Y. Most people trying to learn to play a musical instrument struggle. Ironically, that struggle impedes them from the goal most would like, to be able to effortlessly sit down at the piano, the guitar, whatever, and play virtually anything they could hum by ear, no music. Many of the professional club day pianists I know, including me, learned largely that way, trial and error plunking out melodies and later harmonies. With far less effort than trying to read, let alone memorize lots of sheet music, there's constant feedback on whether their ear guessed right. In contrast, traditional music instruction bypasses the ear, straight from seeing the sheet music to translating it into what their fingers do. I demonstrate Eerily on a YouTube, which has gotten a lot of views, and do see the comments that describe it as working. E-A-R-I-L-Y, Eerily, as in eerily, kind of the pun. Altrupil. We shake our collective heads at the selfishness, if not miscreants, of many people. Imagine if, as heavily as we fund cancer research, we funded research to develop an altruism pill. Gene therapy, to replace the likely large cluster of genes associated with selfishness, with those gene clusters causing altruism. Of course, that would take decades and may never work, but that hasn't stopped us from funding research on a cure for cancer or for a sustainable, green, powerful, yet safe enough new energy source. We all acknowledge the role of both genes and environment in most human attributes, animal attributes, plant attributes. There's little reason to doubt that both are at play in altruism. A similar initiative should be undertaken to develop an intelligence, quote, pill. Raising the world's collective intelligence through gene editing, gene therapy, would enable us to thrive better in our ever more cognitively demanding world, as well as facilitate our developing solutions to problems like the aforementioned cancer and energy challenges. Those treatments would, of course, be completely voluntary and free to the poor, just as are other treatments through Medi-Cal. And finally, the Town Hall Cafe. When I was in Switzerland, I saw a cafe with a blackboard in the window announcing who would be leading a talk each hour. Anyone could sign up to lead such an hour. What a wonderful way to increase civic engagement as well as boost the cafe's profits. So, what do you think? Those are my top 10 best ideas. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, and certainly would welcome you checking out any of my 30 books. They're maybe particularly relevant to this one. Is called What's the Big Idea? 39 Reinventions for a Better America. All 30 are on Amazon. Just go there and search on my name, Marty Nemko, N-E-M-K-O, and you will find more than you can stomach. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.